with emptiness will disappear. Therefore, monks, you should train yourselves thus. When those discourses spoken by the Tathagata that are deep in meaning, supramundane, dealing with emptiness are being recited, we will be eager to listen to them, will lend an ear to them, will apply our minds to understand them, and we will think those teachings should be studied and mastered. Thus should you train yourselves. That's the end of the sutta. It's a very important sutta where the Buddha gave a warning that in the future, just like the drum, when the drum starts to crack, they put a pack over it, and then later they put another pack. Eventually, the packs surround the drum, and you can't recognize the drum. You only see packs all around. So in the same way, the Buddha is saying, right now the suttas are available. This is a true Dhamma. But in the future, disciples meaning later monks, disciples of the Buddha, later monks, they will write other books which are beautiful sounding, interesting and all that. Then people will be interested in those instead of the suttas, the original discourses of the Buddha. And then the Dhamma becomes impure. Then the true Dhamma will not be recognized. People will think the Dhamma is what is in the commentaries, in the later books like the Mahayana Sutras, the Abhidhamma, the Jataka stories and all that. So then that will conceal the true Dhamma. So here the Buddha says, here it says created by outsiders, but the translation, the Pali text society is not created by outsiders, it is alien. Alien, that means it has nothing to do with the Dhamma, that is outside the Dhamma. Those later books are outside the real Dhamma, and they are spoken by disciples. We know those later books, like Abhidhamma and Visuddhimagga and Jataka stories and all that, although there is some use in them, but unless you are familiar with the original teachings of the Buddha, then you may be led astray, you may be given wrong views. Like now, people think that jhanas, samadhi is not important, vipassana is more important. This is totally contradictory to what the Buddha says. The Buddha always says that the jhanas are the footprints of the Buddha. And in one of the suttas, the Buddha said, if a person wants to be enlightened, the various stages to attain enlightenment are the jhanas. Just like a coral tree flower blooming, various stages. So too, when a person progresses to enlightenment, he must go through the various stages of jhana. So the Buddha is saying that we should take the trouble to study the suttas that are deep in meaning, supramundane, transcending the world, dealing with emptiness. So this Buddha is telling us that we should put importance on the suttas, not in other books. Just like nowadays, a lot of people, instead of going to study the suttas, they can study all kinds of other later books. 20.8. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Vesali in the great wood in the hall with the peaked roof. There the Blessed One addressed the monks thus. Monks, Venerable Sir, those monks replied. The Blessed One said, Monks, now the Lichavis dwell using blocks of wood as cushions. They are diligent and ardent in exercise. King Ajatasattu of Magadha, the Videhan son, does not gain access to them. He does not get a hold on them. But in the future, the Lichavis will become delicate with soft and tender hands and feet. They will sleep until sunrise on soft beds with pillows of cotton wool. Then King Ajatasattu of Magadha will gain access to them. Then he will get a hold on them. Monks, now the monks dwell using blocks of wood as cushions. They are diligent and ardent in striving. Mara, the evil one, does not gain access to them. He does not get a hold on them. But in the future, the monks will become delicate, with soft and tender hands and feet. They will sleep until sunrise on soft beds, with pillows of cotton wool. Then Mara, the evil one, will gain access to them. He will get a hold on them. Therefore, monks, you should train yourselves thus. Using blocks of wood as cushions, you will dwell diligent and ardent in striving. Thus should you train yourselves. So here the Buddha is saying that just as the Lichavis, when they sleep, they use blocks of wood to sleep as cushions. So because it's not so comfortable, they can't sleep very long. They get up early. But later, when they become luxurious, then they want to sleep on soft bed and soft pillows and all that. And then when they enjoy life too much, then King Ajatasattu, their enemy, the neighbor, will conquer their country, conquer them, overpower them. So in the same way, the Buddha is warning that monks, if they are ascetic, they strive hard, they don't sleep so much, they are not luxurious, then Mara cannot overpower them. But when the monks become luxurious, backslide, and become too enjoy life too much, then they will be overcome by Mara, the evil one. So the Buddha says that monks should be diligent and always striving. 20.9. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. Now on that occasion, a certain newly ordained monk was approaching families excessively. The other monks told him, the Venerable One should not approach families excessively. But when he was being admonished by them, he said, these elder monks think they can approach families, so why can't I? Stop here for a moment. So this new monk, he saw a lot of old monks, elder monks, going to visit lay people. So he thinks he also is entitled to visit the lay people frequently. Then a number of monks approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side, and reported this matter to the Blessed One. The Blessed One said, just now I forgot to say, the previous sutta, when it was mentioned Tathagata, that is one of the names of the Buddha, Tathagata, thus gone one. In Chinese they translate it as Ru Lai, thus come one, but the actual meaning is thus gone one. Buddha is gone and won't come back. Then the Buddha said, monks, once in the past there was a great lake in a forest with bull elephants dwelling in its vicinity. Those elephants would plunge into the lake, pull up lotus stalks with their trunks, and having washed them thoroughly, would chew them and swallow them free from mud. This increased their beauty and strength, and on that account they did not meet death or deadly suffering. Their young offspring, emulating those great bull elephants, would plunge into the lake and pull up lotus stalks with their trunks, but without washing them thoroughly, without chewing them, they would swallow them along with the mud. This did not increase their beauty and strength, and on that account they met death or deadly suffering. Stop here for a moment. So these big elephants, they are experienced. They jump into the pond and then they pluck the lotus stalks. They clean them before they eat them. But these silly young elephants, they didn't notice carefully. They tried to copycat the old elephants, and they just took up the lotus stalks and ate them with mud and everything. So they became very sick, or they died. So two monks, here the elder monks, dress in the morning, and taking bowl and robe, enter a village or town for alms. There they speak on the Dhamma, and the lay people show their confidence to them. They use their gains without being tied to them, uninfatuated with them, not blindly absorbed in them, seeing the danger in them and understanding the escape. This increases their beauty and strength, and on that account they do not meet death or deadly suffering. The newly ordained monks, emulating the elder monks, dressed in the morning, and taking bowl and robe, enter a village or town for alms. There they speak on the Dhamma, and the lay people show their confidence to them. They use their gains while being tied to them, infatuated with them, blindly absorbed in them, not seeing the danger in them, and not understanding the escape. This does not increase their beauty and strength, and on that account they meet death or deadly suffering. Therefore, monks, you should train yourselves thus. We will use our gains without being tied to them, uninfatuated with them, not blindly absorbed in them, seeing the danger in them, and understanding the escape. Thus should you train yourselves. That's the end of the sutta. So here, this sutta is about young monks. They see older monks doing something, and they think they're entitled to it also. That's a problem. Sometimes new monks are a bit arrogant. So they think whatever the elder monks do, they also can copycat. And sometimes they don't ask for advice, they don't ask for permission, they just do as they like. So here, sometimes I see this also. So there is an example given, I forgot. Let's see. We skip this one now. 20.10. Savati. Now on that occasion, a certain monk was socializing with families excessively. The other monks told him, just now I wanted to say, there is a Zen story about a Zen monk, and he was supposed to be a very experienced monk. So he had a lot of disciples. And he told his disciples to be very mindful, whatever they do, to do slowly, eat their food slowly, walk slowly, do everything slowly. So the disciples did that. But after some time they complained to him. They say, Master, you ask us to do everything slowly, but we see you do everything so fast. Then the Master said, how can you compare with me? What the Master is trying to say is that even though he does things fast, he is mindful because his mind is developed. He's mindful. He doesn't have to show that he is mindful. His mind is very sharp. Whereas these young monks, their minds are not trained, are not developed. So they think they have a right also to what their Master does. They don't realize that their standard is different. 20.10 Savati. Now on that occasion, a certain monk was socializing with families excessively. The other monks told him, the Venerable One should not socialize with families excessively. But though he was admonished by them, he did not desist. Then a number of monks approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side and reported this matter to the Blessed One. The Blessed One said, Monks, once in the past, a cat stood by an alley or a drain or a rubbish bin, watching for a little mouse, thinking, when this little mouse comes out for food, right there I will grab it and eat it. Then that mouse came out for food, and the cat grabbed it and swallowed it hastily without chewing it. Then that little mouse ate the cat's intestines and mesentery, and on that account the cat met with death and deadly suffering. I'll stop here for a moment. So this mouse, because of greed, without chewing the rat, he swallowed it. And the rat seems that it was still alive, went into the intestines and the big intestines and started to chew there. This reminds me, about a year ago or something, we saw in the newspaper about anaconda, one of the big snakes in South America. So it swallowed alligator, crocodile. So it swallowed the crocodile, and the crocodile went into its body. And then the crocodile inside was half dead. And then it gave one final kick. give one final kick and